An ecological footprint is a concept tying how much food, energy, material goods we use, tying that back to the land, since everything we have and use ultimately comes from the land. If it's energy, like coal or oil, that has to be located and extracted from the ground. If it's food, that you eat, we can tie that to how many acres of food must be harvested. So an ecological footprint, or eco-footprint, is trying to equate how much stuff people use with how much land was needed to produce that stuff. I think right now, in terms of ecological footprints, any strides we're making are strides individual students or staff people are making. One way to reduce one's footprint would be just to not buy stuff, not to buy so much stuff, live with less. If I have stuff, instead of throwing it in the landfill or in the trash, can I reuse that in another way? If I have a plastic water bottle, instead of recycling it, can I take that to a water bottle filling station and just refill it and keep using it? Driving an electric car to work instead of a gas-powered car. Driving a fuel-efficient gas-powered car instead of driving a large SUV, which is less fuel efficient. A simple action like that is reducing someone's eco-footprint. If the school was to change out incandescent light bulbs for LED light bulbs, we would lessen our eco-footprint. Or even to replace the fluorescent lighting here in the room with LED lighting, we would lessen our footprint. If we switch to wind power, geothermal power, solar power, we would be reducing our ecological footprint. But I don't know if there's any concentrated, plan focusing on that. Since I've been teaching environmental science for years now, I do challenge myself to kind of keep saying, I talk the talk. Is there a way I could walk the walk? Is there another area that I can improve upon? My students and I were discussing, stopping using plastic straws, plastic knives and forks. And so I bought paper straws, I bought a glass straw that I could use. And when I go out now, I will tell waiters and waitresses at restaurants, please, I don't need a straw. I compost at home and here at school, and I'm excited to get my students interested in composting. Just little things like that. It's never ending. I'm not done. I'm far from perfect, but I aspire to always, do more to help with sustainability.
Hi there, Owen Russell from Pirate TV, and we're on the quest for the best pizza in Pearl River. Let's go. First stop, Raphael's Pizza Shop on Central Avenue. Let's go on in. So, just finished up at Raphael's Pizzeria on Central Avenue. Pizza was good, pretty cheap for only $2. Good pizza. Cheese, I would say, is the highlight, but the only problem for me was way too thin. It caused the pizza to stop being at really good. Like, really good was its cap. Could have been great, it's just really good. For me, I'd say 7 out of 10. Let's go to the next place. Here we are, stop number 2, Russo's House of Pizza at the bottom of Central Avenue. Let's head on in. So stop number 2 is Russo's House of Pizza. I gotta say, probably better than the first stop. Sauce was a little sweeter, there's something I liked about it, It was very similar to Raphael's except for the sauce, which I think was better here. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Let's head to the next stop. Stop number 3, Milano's Pizza on Middletown. Let's head on in. So just came from Milano's Pizza. I gotta say, best pizza yet. It was doughy, which I like, really good cheese, great crust, and I think it's a top one so far. I would give it a 8.5 out of 10. Let's keep searching.
What is the most influential childhood movie for our generation out of these four choices? Monsters, Inc., Toy Story, High School Musical, Finding Nemo.
Which Toy Story?
Toy Story 1.
Nemo.
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
What were the first
The nominees are Monsters, Inc., Toy Story, Finding Nemo, High School Musical.
High School Musical. Monsters Inc. Finding Nemo.
High School Musical. High School Musical.
Go.
Finding Nemo.
Monsters Inc. Finding Nemo. I think Monsters Inc. Nemo.
Toy Story.
I think High School Musical really helped shape me. It directed me in a path that was good for life. It was influential for me.
And
The majority of the scientific community has come to the consensus that climate change is one of the most pressing issues facing society today. Plastic waste is one of the major contributors to this issue. In Los Angeles alone, over 10 tons of plastic waste enter the ocean each day. Plastic is a part of modern day life. We see it all around us. This is Mr. Mullane. He's the AP Environmental Science teacher here at the high school. We sat down to talk with him about plastic waste and how it's dealt with here in Pearl River.
Well, what I think is being done right is that we have a crew, right, the recycling club, that consistently, except for summer vacation, every Friday after school, go through into every room that they have access to, and they hand, take out the recyclables out of the recycling bin. They'll even grab, bottles that are on desks and things. And the first part of recycling is collecting those plastics, right? And that is labor intensive, and takes great dedication by those students. So that's really cool that they do that, and they collect those. They empty sometimes remaining water and stuff, and they gather them all up in the bags so that they're sorted and ready to go out into the recycling bins outside.
What happens when recyclables end up in the trash or end up in the ocean, and what kind of impact do we see following that?
Well, plastics in the ocean, we'll talk about that specifically. Depending on the type of plastic, they can cause different types of harm. If we were talking about a plastic bag, like a trash bag, a ShopRite bag, maybe plastic that a newspaper is wrapped in and delivered, in the water that appears like a jellyfish to something like a sea turtle. The sea turtle may eat it. It's not digestible, so then it will block its digestive tract, and sadly the turtle might slowly starve to death, right, if its intestines are blocked.
We talked more about what's being done in the school, specifically what one student has accomplished. Senior Skylar Pauletta has started her own organization to assist sea turtles.
About 2 years ago, I was snorkeling off the coast of the Cayman Islands, and it was probably like 10 feet off, and there was plastic all at the bottom of the ocean, and that really got me mad because a lot of people don't know that sea turtles actually choke on the plastic bags and the straws that people just throw away. And in about 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than there are fish, like weight-wise, and that's really sad to me because people don't really realize how bad plastic can affect our environment.
Skylar raises money selling t-shirts on her website, seaturtlehelp.org. We asked Mullane what he thought about recent actions getting water bottle filling stations placed throughout the school.
It's one of the best stories here at the high school, and I can only speak on the high school because I'm not down in the other schools, but a fantastic effort to get these put into the school. My classroom is near one of the water bottle filling stations in the cafeteria. I can see every day, many times a day, people going and filling up water bottles that they were not willing to do when we had the weak little fountain that barely put out water. And some people, again, even if the fountain operated, they don't feel comfortable, whether it's psychological or a question about hygiene. The water bottle filling station is so convenient, and all one needs to do is look at the data and look at how many individual use bottles we've not used and not had to deal with, either as solid waste or as a recyclable. That it's been a fantastic program, and that really makes me happy to see students using that with any container, right, made of any material.
So we've already talked about what's being done in the school. Now, besides getting a refillable water bottle, what can you do to help the problem?
The thing I try and encourage everybody to consider is the 3 R's, which are reduce, reuse, and recycle. And recycle is the third and actually least desirable option. To me, right, a perfect world would be where we're not even making the plastics or generating. We don't have that many bottles out in circulation that are made of plastic. So I really want to encourage people to think alternatives to plastics. Metal, containers, glass containers.
So in APES, we're doing a thing like no straws. So if you just stop using plastic straws at a restaurant, ask for no straw, like the little contribution can help sea turtles and other animals.
A lot of teachers say that they see the future in their students, and as an AP Environmental Science teacher, how do you look towards the future when it comes to sustainability?
Absolutely hopeful. When I went to high school many moons ago, there was not even a course in environmental science. Much of the science that my students are learning is, it's a combination of some classic earth science and biology, but it's an exploding field. Really only since the 70s have we really focused a lot of money and energy and research in the environmental sciences. And so some of the problems that we're having are a result of 100 or 200 years of living, in America with, the idea that maybe resources were limitless, that, there was nothing that was going to come back and hurt us. We had lots of space and a small population. Now we have a much bigger population. We use a lot more stuff. And the students who are taking environmental science here are learning what the challenges are, but they're also learning that they can be part of great solutions. They can be inventive, invent new technologies. They're learning sustainable habits that their parents just never knew about. And that leaves me hopeful that as big as the challenges are and as dark as some of the news is, I firmly believe change is possible, and it's going to happen with what I call the APES Army, that students come through and they leave here and they join the APES Army to go out as soldiers for the environment, like the Lorax, to speak for the trees, to speak for clean water, speak for clean air, right, and to really make a difference and make a change. And when we get enough of them out there, that's going to have we'll get past the tipping point and things will get better.
Welcome back to beautiful Pearl River. Last video, we ate 3 different slices. We ranked all 3, but that's not good enough. This time we're back. We're ranking new slices. We're eating them. It's time, baby. Pizza part 2. Let's go. First stop, Sorrento's Pizzeria on Middletown Road. Let's go on in. First stop was Sorrento's Pizzeria on Middletown. It was good, I gotta say, really good. I liked it. I thought it had a nice flop to it. I know that sounds odd, like when you're talking about pizza, but it was good. I'm telling you, it was good. Rating-wise, don't know what I can give it rating-wise. I'm trying to think. It's at least an 8. I think it's hovering around an 8 right now, 8 out of 10. But these are tentative right now, and when the final rankings come out, you'll see what I've fully ranked everything. But definitely good pizza. We'll see it near the top, I can tell you that. Next up, Pizza City, also on Middletown Road. Here we go. So I just finished up eating Pizza City's pizza. It was good. It was good. It's pizza, so it's good, you know. Nothing really spectacular. The bottom's kind of burnt. So, I mean, let's go 7.2 at the moment. That's tentative, of course, because when the real rankings come out, that's when everything changes, you know. So everything right now it isn't final yet, but when we get to the real rankings, then it'll be final. So, for right now, 7.2. Off to the next stop, though. Okay, so next up is Domino's Pizza on Central. Let's get going. Just finished up at Domino's. Gotta say I expected this, but this is the worst one. It's definitely a chain pizza, you can tell. The other places you can tell it's like homemade, it's like this is their thing, this is pizza, but for Domino's it's disappointing. It burnt my mouth as soon as it got out of the oven. Not in a good way. So, not great. I don't think I could say much good about it. But I guess it classifies as pizza, so 5 out of 10? Let's say 5 out of 10. But we gotta keep searching.
Tell me a little bit about International Night.
It's a night of celebrating diversity. Every year we try to focus on certain fundraisers, typically that are international. This year we are donating towards children in need who are trying to get an education in India.
Speaking of years, how many years has this been going on for?
I would say almost 10 years.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
And what do you
this year we have a henna station.
I see, yeah.
In honor of India.
In honor of India. Can you tell me more about the foundation?
Yeah. I can tell you a lot about it. It's called Akshaya Patra. Tara Iyer was the one who told us about it. What springboarded this fundraiser was us watching the film Lion, which came out last year, and it's based on a true story about a child who got lost in India and went and ended up in the orphanage system. Long story short, yes. Long story short, he finds his way back home to his parents. But with that, which was set in India and New Zealand, we springboarded this organization donating towards it. And anyway, what's interesting about this is the translation is unlimited food vessel.
Wow.
So this feeds children who are trying to go to school in India warm meals every day.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And how will you be sending the money to India? Is there a
Through this organization.
Your organization?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really impressive. You talked to Tara. You talked about diversity. Why do you think people should come internationally? What's their true experience?
So that we can realize that our differences is what actually we all have in common.
I mean, everyone loves coming to this night.
Well, food is totally brings people together. So that's definitely a wonderful thing that we have here.
So, tonight's International Night. What brings you both here to this night?
I think it's a great night. It brings food, culture, and art all together under one roof. And the concept is really special. The idea of helping people with the proceeds from the student art is really nice. And we want to support something like this, of course.
Have you gone around to the countries yet?
We're just starting to make our way around, but I can see even from here that the displays are very nice.
They usually do
And
a
again,
very good
it's
job.
it brings everything together.
Yeah, it does. I see you have a bowling
I
green.
already picked one out. Yes, from the student tables out there. I think I made a good choice. It's a color I don't have yet. I'm really happy to add it to the collection.
What about you, Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, well, I have my vote too, but I unveil mine later in the week on my desk so people can see it. So it's kind of a surprise. But I'm here for the same reason.
I didn't get a bag.
Because we hide mine. I'm here for the same reason. It's a celebration of cultures.
Yeah, it is.
So this is a great night. So
It definitely brings a lot of families and friends together as everyone's here.
the community comes out. People that don't even have children here are coming here to
The
enjoy
teachers,
this.
I see them.
Hi, I'm Lena. This is Kira. And we're representing Armenia. So here we have Armenian pizza, which is a thin piece of pita bread with meat and spices on it. And this is tomato, cucumber, and onion salad. And here we have Armenian baklava.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I'm representing El Salvador and I make pizzas.
What is this dish?
It's a tortilla and it's stuffed with meat.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
And
Yeah.
you can put sauce and curtido on top of it.
Is this typically what you eat at home or like a favorite dish?
Yeah, it's like typical Salvadorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Anna. I'm Melissa. We represent Italy. We made pasta, and we have other cookies and things. Pizzellis.
Go. Hi, my name is Julia.
And I'm Tara.
And we are representing Belgium.
And we made Belgian waffles and chocolate mousse.
So what brings you to International Night?
Well, I like the food. I like experiencing new cultures through food, basically. So it's like I got this beef stew from Malta and some pierogies from Poland and Armenian pizza, some of this good stuff.